Welcome back to K24 Alpha Jury. It's now time to rise and shine. This is what we do every single morning from 6:30 to 7 in the morning. And today's Tuesday. Our main focus is normally entrepreneurship. So we are going to be discussing social entrepreneurship and innovation. Joining me in this conversation is Mr. Albert Nashion. Karibu sana to K24 Alpha Jury.
Thank you so much. Rise and shine.
Rise and shine, absolutely. We're so happy to have you. And you're from Slum Code.
Yes.
What does Slum Code do and what's your position there?
All right. Thank you so much. Like you've introduced me, my name is Albert Nashion, and I am the founder of the Slum Code Group. Slum Code is a social innovation organization, basically focusing on the east side of Nairobi. And we have founded this organization in 2006 in Huruma.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Our idea has always been to create a situation whereby young people within the informal settlements are able to leverage on innovation, entrepreneurship, and personal leadership, because we realized that not so many of them had the chance to experience some of these things as they grew up, based on the kind of neighborhood that they come up from. So I was hit because as an entrepreneur myself, I had started a small business in Huruma, and young people kept on coming, having a good time with us there in the evening, and I realized, okay, rather than these young people coming and settling at my shop, because I was running a computer shop where we do computer bureaus, photocopies, typing and stuff like that. So the young people kept on being there every evening. And so that's when the idea of, okay, why can't we do something collectively as a team came together. And June 2006, the Slum Code Group was put together.
Was put together?
Yes.
Okay, just tell us about your startup. How easy or how difficult was it? Because, you know, a lot of young people really do complain. Number one, there are no jobs. And number two, even if I want to start a business, it's very hard for me because financing is quite a big issue.
All right. Yeah, definitely for me, the one thing that is really very key in setting up a startup would be attitude. Because when you want to do something, it's normally not the very easy thing. Because one time somebody would think, oh, I'd rather get employed. Yeah. Employment is equally not easy. Yeah,
because you're sure, you know, like at the end of the month, you have something coming in. You don't have to,
And that used to be then. Not anymore now.
Absolutely.
Because we've now moved to the era of performance indicators. And so if you're going to earn a salary, you have to work for it. So there's a lot of work also involved in all that. But then entrepreneurship also, which I will explain how I perceive it, is also not a very easy thing. But one thing that happens is I am one person who feels very spontaneous. I'm creative, and I don't give up easily. So these are some of the characters and personalities that we are going to discuss that you need to be able to become an entrepreneur, and more so a social entrepreneur. Because social entrepreneurship takes a line of community development and community practice, which means you're engaging in some kind of business which could be profit or not for profit, but you're giving back to the community. So training young kids, empowering them, you know, talking about housing, talking about environmental issues, all this has to do with that. So for us, it was very easy because we put together a group of like-minded young people. There were artists, you know, there are people who want to also venturing into business, and many of them really realized that the idea of getting a space where we could share our ideas, collaborate, and see how to grow together became a very key thing. And so that is how Slum Code came up. And like I said, based on our vision, an informed and connected neighborhood, building sustainable livelihoods. It worked. Yeah,
and I love the idea of a Slum Code, you know, integrating not only the white-collar jobs, but also the talents, you know, like if you're talented, then we come and we nurture that talent and you make some money off it. But you as an individual, how do you perceive entrepreneurship?
All right. For me, an entrepreneurship, like I said, I came from a very humble background also, born in Jericho, you know, then raised in Huruma.
Okay.
Tumetoka Jerry, tunaenda Huruma. Yeah, so born in Jericho, raised in Huruma. Literally all my adult life was in Huruma at the flats and within that area. And so like I said, again, it's something that is based on personality. Not everybody can succeed as an entrepreneur because of the challenges that you have to go through. But for me, entrepreneurship is a very key thing because every single day, you'll realize that the society has a lot of challenges. And anytime there's a challenge, there's a need. And if you can fulfill a need, then you can do a business. And that has been my perception of building up a social enterprise ever since, because you'd find that if the environment has challenges, then we want to clean it up. When you clean it up, there's plastic. If there's plastic, you can recycle. If you recycle, there's money. And so you just need to be able to like and love and have a desire for what you do.
Absolutely.
When you get onto that level, and for me again, it's not always about pursuing money. You don't need to chase money. Come up with a solution. Money will be a providence. So that's how I viewed it. And I kept on telling all the young people that I work with, look at your talent, figure out what you're good at, just run after your passion. Because as the sorry, as it goes, when you do what you love, you don't have to work.
Absolutely.
You're doing what you love. So during the day, during the night, any other time, you're doing what you love. And you keep on going after it day after day.
Absolutely. And it's really important that you have mentioned, do not chase money. Because even we, as a younger generation, every single time when you're thinking about business, the first thing that comes in mind is, how much money am I going to be making by the end of the month? You know? And we forget the bigger picture. It's all about what you're passionate about. And if I was to ask you, how has innovation impacted the 21st century? What would you say?
Wow. Actually, the 21st century, the people we call the millennials are very lucky because you only have to be smart. And smartness is what leads to leverage. And I'll talk about leverage at some point. So when you're looking at the 21st century where social media has really literally erupted, you know, communication via communication programs and softwares applications like Google has really built up a space. So for me, the 21st century is a very easy time to be able to focus on core subjects or products that build you. You know, some of us when we were growing up, we only knew of Yahoo. You know, and Yahoo was simply you go send mail, receive mail,
and that's it,
and you're done.
I still have a Yahoo account.
You do? Oh, God.
So old-fashioned.
Thank you. Maria Ressa, the CEO of Yahoo, should be proud of you. You know, but now you see, we've moved on to the era of Instagram, Google, you know, YouTube, and literally you can do a lot of business from a smartphone. You know, so when you have a smartphone, something like it is said, you should never sleep hungry because there's so much you can do on such platforms. And that is why, for me, the 21st century is really a very easy time to be able to, first of all, identify who you are as a person, know what you're good at, then begin focusing. Because if you need to do research, where do you do it? Wikipedia is right there for you. Google search is right there for you. Google is your friend. Yes, exactly. Every day, very available. LinkedIn will connect you to people you've never met physically. You know, Facebook, if you know how to use it, you know, because I know young people sometimes spend a lot of time on social media. But if you do not really have a clear precision about what you want to achieve on social media, you know, I have a 13-year-old son, and I was telling him, when you're on Facebook, what do you do? Because he said he wanted to be an architect. And I'm like, so how many Facebook pages related to design and architecture have you found out? He was like, Dad, none. I'm like, then what do you do there? You know? So you see, it's about knowing why you are on that platform. Yes, it's good to kujibonda. Sometimes you need to have fun. But when you spend time on social media, make sure it's adding value to what you're doing. And for it to add value to what you're doing, you need to know, what do I like to do? What do I want to become? Then now you start attracting the natural environment or social circle that works towards your benefit. That is the way 21st century business development is actually growing. You find out who you are, create habits that will build you, and then grow in that line.
Amazing. And a lot of young people will really like to get into online businesses. And I don't know what advice that you can give them and how to create and build a brand when it comes to online.
All right. Online business, again, like I said, nothing is easy. Everything is exciting, I mean, but nothing is easy. Even online business, and I know people who do it and they really make a lot of money out of it because now PayPal has been integrated. You're able to receive your payment just like that, you know. But again, you have to offer quality. You know, nobody would just employ you or hire you because you can put on some gibberish. No, you need to be able to have quality. Having quality again means, then what is my line of interest? Am I blogging or sharing about environment? Is it about politics? Is it about personal development and branding? Is it about fashion? What are you talking about? So you need to be able to develop a liking and a personal touch with one specific area that you know you can be good at. When you're good at it, then discover the platforms that are relevant to be able to escalate and accelerate what you're doing. So again, like I said, technology is here with us, but technology, just like we say in very simple computer terms, garbage in, garbage out. So you need to be able to know what are you putting in.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, if you can't use technology well, you'll waste a lot of time.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you think it's a cheaper option as compared to, you know, setting up a physical company?
In terms of doing online work?
Yes.
Yes, definitely it is cheaper in terms of material and physical infrastructure, because now we are going to the era of virtual offices. A virtual office is simply a space where you would walk in with your device, access Wi-Fi or internet, and again, if you know what you're going to do in there, a virtual office or a virtual assistant will really help you do a lot. So it is definitely cheaper, but the investment to offer quality. Because again, when you go to a marketplace where everybody is there, then how do you distinguish yourself? What is the factor that separates you from everybody else? You must be able to have what we call a unique selling point. You know, and so for you to develop a unique selling point, again, you must invest in you.
Yourself.
Yeah, so if you don't invest in yourself, you'll just be like everybody else. So it is cheaper, but you need to really spend much more building yourself as a person. Then now people can identify you and want to do business with you.
And of course have an online presence.
Yes. Because an online presence, again, that to me has been a bigger challenge, because I work a lot with young people, again, on personal branding and personal development. We'll talk about that. But I realize that you cannot be called Albert Nashion. Then when people go Google Albert Nashion, or they want to find me on social media, they can't find me because I'm called Chaliomta.
Chaliomta.
Yeah, big shot papa. You know, you get it? So,
I love that.
Yeah, even within your social media placements, you must maintain a brand. And to maintain a brand means, do you have a name that cuts across all the social media platforms? That if somebody wants to find you, all they have to go and do is Albert Nashion, and it will come across. And then what am I talking about as Albert Nashion? Am I on one platform abusive and aggressive and funny things? Am I on another platform this? Do I have multiple personalities on social media? So a lot of things are able to affect us. But again, if you know why you are an entrepreneur, what you want to achieve, what you want to realize, for you, it will be clear-cut.
Okay. So even as we talk about innovation and how it has impacted the 21st century and now online presence, a lot of people kind of get to think that there's no need to network, and you know, like online businesses have actually cut off networking. What do you have to say about that?
Even in families, let me start off with families. I believe online presence has affected even families. And that is why we have what we call netiquette. You know, netiquette is basically etiquette that is related to nets, being on the internet and stuff like that. So if you do not create a good culture of how your online presence impacts you, then you will have no boundaries. You'll not have limits that are able to define how you become, and that becomes a problem. So networking and physical meetups are very key thing. You need to be able to only use the social media to communicate, to build a dependable brand that people can trust on you, in you, and then number 3, then encourage physical meeting as much as can be possible. Because I know what happens, like with Facebook. You can meet somebody, they'll want to trust you. Once they trust you, they'll ask for either your number, then they can either WhatsApp or call you. After that, you'll either do a Skype so that they can see you. Because, you can simply go and type a lot of stuff there. But now somebody has to go through the journey of building trust. When people build trust, then they can do business with you. And when they do business with you, you'll be able to make the income that you want.
Okay, so now let's talk about the power of leverage. Yes, and I know you're very passionate about this particular one.
Thank you.
How powerful is it?
Leverage is an amazing thing. And like I said, during our days when we were growing up, you know, I'm that old. You know, during our days when we were growing up. You want to mention it on air? No, I'm around about that. You know, but I will say it. I'm past 40.
Okay.
Yes. So when we were growing up, for me, the issue of 21st century generation technology was not really there. And you realize that for you to meet somebody, there were those days when you could go to a booth say tupatane ambassador kwa hizo booth. Can you remember that? If you can remember.
The red ones.
Yes, the red ones. You know,
I remember.
so if you don't meet at that specific booth because nobody has a cell phone,
and that's it.
You're done. So that meant we were more disciplined with the truthfulness and time and reliability. If we say it's 2 p.m., you'll do anything possible to be there at 2 p.m. So what is my point? I'm basically saying that when we come to the 21st century, you need to be able to identify, again, like I said, what are you good at? Then when you're talking about leverage, now you start going into circles and spaces that have the product and the service that is right for your business. Get it? So let's assume, like for me, I like public speaking, personality branding. I'm an MC, you know, moderator for sessions and stuff like that. So anytime I'm on social media, I will be searching items and articles or YouTube videos or vlogs related to that. Yes. So that it can start building me. And so leverage becomes a very powerful thing because within the few minutes of your time on your mobile phone, if you have a smartphone, which again are very affordable nowadays, so nobody really has an excuse. So if you have your smartphone, all you have to do is search for the right content, because again, there's a lot of content online. So how do you know what content is right? You know, that means you should be able to use search engine programs that are able to bring content to you that you can
Everything
compare.
That you need.
Exactly, that you can compare, and that really helps. So leverage starts off at that point. But again, you will only grow with leverage when you take it to the next level. Having information or having knowledge is not enough. Now, you need to be able to know what meeting is coming up. Yeah, what are people planning in the next weekend? What is being done at this specific place? Now, that's how you are able to use your social media positioning or presence to be able to know who do I go and meet and what are they discussing? You know, what are the thematic areas that work for me? And that really becomes big.
Absolutely.
You can be able to participate in a big meetup thousands of miles away that could have costed you flight hours and money sitting in your house.
Absolutely.
You get it?
Yes.
And so for me, that's what I'm saying.
You have the conversation right there, one
Yes.
on one. Yes.
Whether it's Skype or whether it's just a chat.
Yes.
Emails, you can participate in so much. So it is very, very easy to be able to succeed in building up an entire business empire right from
scratch,
using leverage and stuff like that. People will trust you. Like recently, I just had a conversation with somebody. I went to Instagram, and again, I'm very passionate about March to Greatness. We'll talk about that.
Talk about
and I was looking for people who are hiking or in sports, just like I said. And so I go to Instagram and boom, I find this gentleman and he's talking about sports and motivation, and I just post something on his timeline, you know, and the person says, oh, by the way, I'll be in Kenya in 2 weeks. And I'm thinking, oh, just like that, you'll be here. And in 2 weeks, he was actually here, sat at some hotel, and he said, guys, I'm here, I'm meeting people who want to have a time with me.
Wow.
Let's just come and talk.
Yes.
Went in there, met the guy one-on-one. Today, you should be able to know what we are doing. I'll talk about that later.
We will talk about it.
Yes.
But before that, do you think that the 21st century is very lazy, even with all the innovation and the technology that we have? Do you think when we say that there are no jobs, we're actually being honest about it?
Laziness, again, is here very relative. Yeah?
Yes.
And when somebody says there are no jobs, the truth is there are no jobs. But then what are you doing about it?
Absolutely.
The fact that there are no jobs means there's a job for you to do. Create a job, you know. So people are literally lazy because of what we used to call physical engaging jobs.
Yes.
You know, we are all going to the school and we are all trained to be able to go look for a job. Yeah, so we are now applying the TVET generation, you know, the technological innovation stuff that the government is doing, so that now everybody can build up on creativity.
Absolutely.
Yes, you go to school to learn, but then how do you use the knowledge you have to create something? You know, so when you're talking about the vocational training and education, you know, which is more technical and setting up all these facilities, it's because we've realized that people want to sit down on their mobile phones and try to copy-paste. You know, a copy-paste generation is a lazy generation. Because then that means you will not look at what we call structure, scale, and sustainability of an innovation. And that is really a challenge.
Okay, so let's talk about March to Greatness, which is happening on the 10th of August. I'm very much interested in that. Tell us about it and what's the end goal?
All right. Much to greatness, as the word calls it, is a call. It's a call to action for global citizens. And by meaning global citizens, I'm calling to everybody in the world. So like I said, Slum Code's initial intention was to be able to create a safe space for young people in the east side of Nairobi, where a kid could go down from their building, walk into a space that has the facility, the equipment, the environment, the people that can build them up in terms of just personality branding, critical thinking, how to leverage on creativity and stuff like that. These are things that ordinarily kids in the east side of Nairobi would not access. They go to school and home and they play kalongo-longo, and that's done. But now when you bring up a facility, because like I said, leverage again is powerful. If I can find a library near me, it just might encourage me to read.
Absolutely.
If I can find a computer next to me, it just might encourage me to want to learn. So the idea of bringing facilities and equipment close by, easily accessible for young people is a key thing. So Much to Greatness basically is a call to action, like I said, and we are mobilizing 60 global champions to hit the top of Africa. That means you're going to climb Mount Kilimanjaro.
This is in December.
1st of December, people will have arrived, then 3rd will leave for the Kilimanjaro. So what we're doing is the young people who I work with, very creative and talented young people. We have youth who do spoken word poetry through the Artist Hub, you know, founded by one young person who is a slum coder. We have the Prince Crew Empire, also who are musicians, and they're doing a lot of stuff out there. So we brought these people together and they created an anthem. The anthem that they created is now the Much to Greatness musical anthem, which we did an audio. Now, last Sunday, we started recording a video. And so on the 10th of August at Strathmore University, we will be launching this.
So which also happens to be International Youth Day.
International Youth Day.
Amazing.
And the theme is Safe Spaces for Youth.
Safe Spaces for Youth.
Powerful day. We're looking forward.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Nashion, for coming through.
I appreciate it.
That was a very informative discussion, and we hope that we are going to have you back so that we can discuss more on this.
Thank you so much.
And I hope to see you. I shall be seeing you on the 10th of August.
Thank you. Karibu.